All right, we're on.
Yo.
Man, running a little late today, but we got it. We got this.
Yeah, you're good.
Whew. Damn.
Yeah. What are you up to?
Yeah, no, it's a pretty slow day actually. Didn't have too much work to do. Went and caught up on some house stuff, that kind of shit. Yeah.
Kids were so annoying today. Well,
I mean the thing that over with my my mom, my mom's a nurse over at the county hospital here, and there was we got this video that we'll play here, but the video is from a traveling nurse that was working at the same hospital as my mom. They didn't work together. They're in different units.
okay.
But this shit went fucking viral. Like this lady went like on a 50-minute rant about the conditions and shit here. And
did it ring true from what your mom said?
What my mom just emphasizes the severity of the whole pandemic. She doesn't go and try to opine as to how things are going to, how the hospital's operating. She's not, she's not really gonna go ahead and dispute what this lady's really trying to say. It's just that basically it's a fucked up situation, and but like medically, that kind of stuff. I mean, there was nothing that, I mean, from my accounts, I mean, she's a actual nurse. I mean, she knows what she's talking about as far as the conditions and treatments and all that kind of stuff. But the stuff that she was saying is fucking horrifying. It's nothing short of it.
All right, we'll put it on.
All right, let's see if I can do here. Let's see. Go to this. How about I do that and do
I can't hear anything.
She's not talking yet.
I have been wearing. Cameras didn't come close. Yeah, I have been wearing this N95 now since I got home.
Can you hear now?
Even had to sleep in it last night because Cameron was determined to sleep with me last night, and I was trying to quarantine. He was determined to sleep with me.
Can you hear now?
So
No.
I had to sleep with this man as well.
Huh. How the hell is it that I get some things to play for you and I don't get others?
I have went and did my COVID testing.
Let me see. It's working on the stream.
Nikki, I am just awaiting the results. So I
don't hear it on the stream either.
I can hear it on the stream. Oh,
so that I could eat and stuff.
On the Twitch channel.
Without my mask.
I see your lips moving too.
Everybody.
wonder why. It says that it's playing.
I don't hear us either. It's all quiet.
It's all quiet?
Yeah. It's all silent. Like, I don't think anybody can hear us.
Can you... How about now?
I mean, I hear you, but I don't think I can hear... I don't think... No.
On the
stream? Try on my phone. Yeah, the Twitch channel doesn't appear to be working. Let me try on my phone.
Okay.
Oh. No. I'm just trying on my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear it on my phone.
Well, yeah, I told you the thing's probably working.
Why can't I hear it on the fucking...
Maybe you have something muted.
No? What the fuck? Oh, it's probably playing through my headphones. Fuck! Alright.
Alright, are you good?
Every time I try to not use these headphones...
Yeah. They end up coming through the headphones. Alright, let me go back to this thing. Let me see. Can you hear this?
But it was horrific.
Yeah.
Out of all the COVID assignments that I have been on, this one here has really left me emotionally scarred. I literally, so I drove home. I made it home yesterday about 8 o'clock yesterday morning. I think I left Texas at about 2 something in the morning. For the first, like, I'll say about hour of my drive, I cried, like, boo-hoo cried. I don't know if it's, first of all, what's going on in Texas, I don't feel like is being broadcast like they did in New York. Why, I don't know. The facility that I was at, they have surpassed New York, y'all. If y'all can imagine that, they have surpassed New York. What I experienced this past month there was horrific. I don't know. So, of course, like, okay, I was in El Paso, Texas. Of course, majority of the patients, well, just about all of them were Hispanic, which is a minority. For some reason, the doctors there did not aggressively treat those COVID patients as they should have, as I have experienced before. I was in El Paso, Nikki. I thought Cameron's gonna come over here. They did not aggressively treat them as they should have. And according to their staff, the doctors at the hospital wasn't aggressive before COVID, but even with COVID. So I saw a lot of people die that I feel like shouldn't have died. Y'all, that assignment there broke me. I was put in what's called a pit. And in this pit was 8 patients, all COVID positive. My first day of orientation, I was told that whatever patients go into the pit, they only come out in a body bag. Voila.
Yeah. And I did ask my mom if there's a section that was kind of referred to the pit, and she did verify that there's a section that's corded off in that way. So just point of reference.
So we were in this pit, like I said, the pit, 8 patients, 8 COVID positive patients, all on vents, myself and 3 other nurses. There was always 4 nurses in there. We had 2 patients each. They were the sickest of the sick. They were sicker than any COVID patients I've ever seen. They were young. My one patient that I took care of for the whole 3.5 weeks I was there was 41, which is younger than I am. So, wait a minute, Cam. I had to put my mask on because years now total. I'm used to when we run codes, we do everything we can. We exhaust all measures to save our patients. Anybody that know anything about CPR, 1 round is 2 minutes of CPR, which normally includes chest compressions and bagging them. The patients that we coded, we were not allowed to bag them because we would get too much exposure, which I hadn't seen. And because they were COVID positive, this hospital's policy was they only get 3 rounds of CPR, which is only 6 minutes. There's, out of all the codes that we had there, there's not a single patient that made it. Y'all, this, when I say this assignment here, like literally almost destroyed me. Like I called my husband from there, I called my best friend from there, and I just cried. And I just said, what I'm seeing here is just not right. And I kept saying, I was like, I can't get sick here in Texas. Because if I can't go over here in Texas and have to come here, I'm going to die. Like, it was that bad, y'all. I got so tired of hearing cold blue, the cold blue lights flashing. the noise of the cold blue alert system. So I'm in the pit in a COVID ICU, and I have never. Y'all, the doors, I was at the end of the room where you come in at. The doors open and a bed, they came coming in with a hospital bed. So I'm thinking they're bringing us another patient. Y'all, the morgue was so full of bodies that they had ran out of room. So once the doors open to the pit, they come wheeling in a body already in a bag, lined them up with the rest of our alive patients because they had to store the body in there because the morgue was out of room. Hey, Liana, they've had to bring in freezer trucks because there's so many bodies. I was naive enough to think that maybe if I tell them to put me in the pit every day and I work with the same patients every day, continuity of care, maybe I can do something. Maybe I can do some good. Those patients were so sick, it was nothing we could do for them. I posted about a patient the other day that when I went to work, the nurse was sitting there doing nothing. And the patient's blood pressure, I think, was like 78/42. So I'm like, what are you doing? You just sitting here. Like, yeah, we know they gonna die, but we still have to do something as nurses. That whole night, I prayed. I said, God, please don't. Because I knew that night was going to be my last night working. I couldn't do it anymore. I prayed all night long and said, Lord, please don't let this man code on me because I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me to do CPR on another patient. And I know our efforts are going to be in vain. They're going to die anyway. So I prayed all night, like, Lord, please, this is my last night. Don't let this man code on me. And he didn't, barely. But when the nurse came in the next morning and got a report from me, I told him, I said, he won't make it through your shift, so y'all better get ready. And true enough, I got word that that patient died. Y'all, what I experienced as a nurse was horrific. I remember calling a doctor one night, and mind you, we as nurses sit in this pit for 12 hours. The only time that we in full gear, the only time we leave that room is if we go to the bathroom or we go on our 30-minute lunch break. I remember this man bleeding profusely, and I remember calling the doctors that was there. Y'all, to have a doctor tell me, we don't come in those COVID rooms, I'm like, what? Y'all, the doctors don't even step foot in those COVID rooms to see those patients. I was there almost a month. I never once saw a doctor come in that room because they were COVID positive. Y'all, I feel like the treatment that those patients there are getting, when I say it did something to me, I literally, the first hour of my drive home, just cried. I had never experienced anything like that before in my entire life, ever. Doctors would not. We as nurses, it's okay for us to be exposed. But you as doctors, you do not even come in there. You can't get exposed, but we can. And y'all making all the money. Okay. I don't know if it's not being, to me, New York, it wasn't a state, a city that didn't know what was going on in New York. Why is Texas not being broadcast like that? Texas has surpassed New York. We had 4 freezer trucks. 4 that had to show up because it was so many people dying. Like, you dread doing CPR on these patients because you know they not gonna make it. Y'all, I felt like I was tortured. I called home about a week ago. I talked to my best friend, Nikki. She's a nurse too in Memphis. I talked to her and I told her what was going on, and she was like, "Luana, you just need to leave." I just cried on the phone. I was like, "Nikki, I ain't never experienced anything like this before." And she said, "Luana, you just need to leave. Why don't you just leave?" And I said, "Because I feel like they still need me." Although I knew nothing I was going to do was going to save any of those patients. Y'all, we got a 29-year-old patient in that pen, a 31-year-old patient, a 41-year-old patient. They are all younger than I am. I'm 44 years old. And to have the families call you night after night after night for an update, like anything was going to be different, was horrific. To know that the only way those patients was coming out of that pit was in a body bag. I'm not okay from an emotional, from a mental standpoint. Out of my whole career, I have been doing COVID assignments since April. So this was my 5th COVID assignment. And y'all, I have never experienced and have no words for what I just experienced in El Paso, Texas. If those doctors there would aggressively treat those patients from the beginning, a lot more would make it. Y'all, and the saddest part about it, my first night there, as I was getting orientated, the nurse that orientated me had one patient that was called the VIP patient. She was a doctor's wife. And when I say they pulled out all the stops for that woman, it wasn't nothing that they didn't do for that woman. And guess what? She was the one patient that made it out of that ICU alive.
Wow.
And was able to downgrade to a long-term acute care.
Jesus.
So you mean to tell me because she's a doctor's wife, her life meant more than any of those other patients?
Oh, shit.
Y'all, I think we had 10 cold blues in one night. And the staff there, they're just like, "This is new to y'all. We've been dealing with this since like June,
it's got to be the
July."
pharmaceuticals, right?
We just travel nurses. We're just passing.
It
through.
has to go beyond that,
But
though.
them nurses, they are there day after day.
Well,
Those are their jobs. So I just don't understand why no attention
I mean, what
is
more can
being
you do
brought
for a
to
patient
Texas.
if you're not?
Y'all, Texas
pumping
have
them full of drugs?
surpassed New York. There's not a nurse that has been at that facility that had worked in New York that ain't said that. Why they're not getting that attention? I feel like they're not, because they're all Hispanic. They're all minority. And it's like their life don't matter. Because what I experienced there in my 13-year career, I just, like I said, I cried for days. And I was supposed to stay 2 more weeks. And I just, Wednesday night, I just said, "Lord, I can't do this no more." Because if I watch one more person die. Y'all, we had a code, and this new NP that came in was a traveling NP come to the code. And she's like, "Why aren't y'all bagging the patient? Y'all got to bag the patient." Their nurse told her, "We don't bag here. We're not exposing ourselves like that." And I was like, wow. I could not believe what I saw there, what I experienced there. I could not freaking believe. You doing CPR on a patient and you don't bag them because you scared of the exposure? Like, I understand, like, I'm scared to death now. I sat in a pit night after night after night after night. So, like, I just went and got tested for COVID. That's why I had this mask on inside of my house. I have worn a mask inside my house since I've been home. I went and got tested today. My test results won't be in until like Monday or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I just ain't never I'm like, how do you not bag them? Like, y'all to do CPR on a patient that you know that they're not gonna make it. Like I was told, anybody that goes in that pit, they know they only coming out of there in a body bag. And I've seen so many deaths in this past month than I've seen in my entire 13-year career. And like I said, they were young. Some of them were so young. It's just like, I don't know, but I just feel like they just need to be exposed. They just need to be exposed. Like, why y'all not talking about Texas like you was talking about New York? I feel like they not talking about Texas like they was New York because those patients are minorities.
You know why?
They are minorities. And it's like, them patients that go in there, they just don't make it out.
They were
And I
minorities in
started
New
not
York
feeling
too.
too well. And I
Yeah.
was like,
It's fucking political. It's the Joe Biden.
I have to get home. Because if I end up COVID positive and have to go in the hospital here in Texas, I ain't going to stand a chance.
The mainstream media is going to downplay COVID
And
from
I
now
just still
on.
don't know how to process
100%.
what I just experienced. There's so many
Anybody would have
persons
seen that coming.
left broken. I just don't know how to process what I just experienced.
Yeah, well, we've been having COVID
They just don't
issues here for
aggressively
like the
treat
last few
Yeah.
weeks too, though, man. But
You call the doctor. This going on with your patient. This going on. They don't give you no orders for them. It's like they just don't
What?
care, and I just don't understand it. But because it was a VIP patient, a doctor's wife, y'all pulled out all the stops. Y'all aggressively treated that woman, and she was able to downgrade. She didn't leave there in a body bag.
mm-hmm.
And like I said, to be somewhere in an ICU and they come wheeling a bed in with the body already in the bag and just line it up with the rest. So you got a patient that's alive, and then this dead body there. Because they done had so many deaths that the morgue is full. I'm so over COVID. Like, y'all, some people is still taking COVID as a joke. We had iPads in there where the families could Zoom video conference and just look at their loved ones with tubes everywhere.
Most people are.
Machines on the vent. Y'all, and to sit there in this room and hear mothers crying out for their kids. And then it's like the doctors don't call the family and tell the family the truth of what's going on. Like, let them know what's real with these patients. Like, they not gonna make it. Like, y'all, that was torture. It was. It was torture. But I feel like they just need to be exposed. It's just like, it's only being broadcast in the state of Texas. It's not
How much more is on here?
being broadcast
yeah, it's
nationally like it was. But I'm here to tell y'all, and it ain't a nurse that worked in Texas that won't tell you Texas has definitely surpassed New York. But unfortunately, y'all not hearing about it like they did New York. And like I said, I don't care what nobody say. I just feel like the treatment that they're getting or not getting is because they are minorities. I've always felt like as a nurse, I've made some kind of difference. But not there. I remember, I'm not even an anxious person. I got to work one day last week and my lady, 41-year-old that I've been taking care of for weeks straight, her name wasn't on the board. And I know before I left there that that morning, because I was working night shift, she was stable. I refused to leave out of that room until they told me where my patient was. So it was an error that they had moved her name off the board. But I'm just like, I just couldn't take another death. I just couldn't take it. And I just, like I said, I just got in my truck. I couldn't even stand being in the state of Texas anymore. I left out at like 2 in the morning. I was in my hotel room and I was just like, I gotta get out of Texas. And I literally cried the first hour of my drive. Just boohoo cried and just prayed. Because what we have experienced as nurses there in Texas has been horrific. 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 And they rule is you only get 3 rounds of CPR. Y'all, that's 6 minutes. I'm used to running codes for 45 minutes, hours. 6 minutes. You get 3 rounds. After 3 rounds of CPR, if there's no approval, no sign, they call it. So we have yet to work on somebody, perform CPR on somebody that actually made it.
Oh, that's why the doctor's
crazy.
wife lived.
It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
When you talk to other nurses about it, they haven't seen it. They can't even wrap their mind around it. I was in the midst of it and still can't wrap my mind around what I just experienced.
All right. Well, this is it's a 50-minute video, so I mean from that we kind of get the gist of why this went viral here, and needless to say, people that did see it freaked out immediately, and we're calling into the hospitals. That's specifically a University Medical Center here in El Paso, and the family members that do have patients there have family members freaked the fuck out and demanded to know how their family members doing, and it was fucking chilling for me, bro. Like I heard that before we went on, and it still hits me like a fucking ton of bricks, bro. Like, I mean, this is my home, you know? Like this is my hometown, and I grew up around that hospital because my mom's worked there for so long, and to hear the situation that my city's in and the hospital I was born in, I've been in that morgue when I was on rotations in high school. You know, I know what they're talking about, and it's all. I mean, it's surreal and it's fucking terrifying, to be honest. You know, to me, to think that the way that we're operating, or the way they're operating in my hometown is it's that deteriorated. And you know, you have somebody like what she's saying there about, you know, doctor's wife, and they'll go balls to the wall to make sure she doesn't die, you know. But then anybody else that goes through that pit, that has to be in intensive care because of COVID, you get 2 rounds, you get 6 minutes, and if you don't bounce back from that, then they're calling it on you.
Yeah, and that's just a question of like manpower, right? Like, if they had more staff, they could have, you know, given them 45 minutes like they need it, right?
I mean, if it is, you know, if that's the problem, look at what she's also saying. You know, she's talking about doctors don't even want to go in to examine a COVID patient. They don't want to risk the exposure for them. That's their job. That's their doctors, right? You know, it's a precarious situation to be in as a doctor, but that's your job, is to try to save a patient's life, right? And yeah, I mean, what do you expect at that point is if you go into a hospital, you're supposed to get some kind of help in that. And look, when like from my experience and what I know is that when my mom's told me that she's had codes that she's had to take care of, or there's situations that are vulnerable like that, in her experience and what she's told me is they go and give every kind of effort to save people. That's what her experience is. So when she's over here, when this nurse is over here talking about they let them go, it's fucking shocking as shit to think about it that way. Like,
Yeah, death panels.
Yeah, yeah. Essentially, and the way they're making a determination. I don't know if I necessarily buy in to, the situation is like that in El Paso because we're a majority Hispanic city. I mean, the situation in New York, people that have been hit by COVID in those major cities they're minorities. They've received
disproportionately affected.
Yes, it's disproportionately affected minorities. But I mean, even then, like you think about it, maybe that's also indicative of something else. Why is it majority of minorities that are not making it? Is it genetic?
No,
and
that.
Yeah,
that's the thing. That's the take that people shit on Adolf Reed for. They said that he was trying to explain it like he was trying to explain the disproportionate in more like class terms, like working class people. They have essential worker jobs, blah blah blah, and people were calling him a fash or something. I forget what the exact criticism was, but that's why people were trying to cancel him for the way he was talking about it.
Yeah, and when I say that it's genetic, I mean obviously I'm being fucking ironic about it, but if there is something else to that, I mean
there are like what there are a few things, right, that only I don't know about Hispanic community because it's pretty similar to white, but I think there are certain like genetic disorders that only affect like
disproportionately here we have more of a problem with things like diabetes.
But I think there's like a couple like diseases that only affect black community.
Like I know sickle cell is one, right?
Yeah,
but
there's a couple like weird things like that.
Yeah,
but I'm sure.
I mean, as far as like the disproportionate type of treatment. I mean, look, it's. I mean, let's be real about it. Look what happened with Trump. Trump got it, and he got flown into Walter Reed, and treated with every fucking conceivable thing. He did. He got treated with every fucking conceivable thing, and
like
that is not something. Right, that is not something that is available to everybody.
Exactly. That's why the rich motherfuckers don't care. They don't care anymore. Like we were saying last night, they are confident that if they get sick, they'll be fine. They'll have enough medical treatment. They'll have enough like concern.
Right.
They can stay home.
You can extrapolate that down. So if you have a doctor or that's at a hospital and his wife is sick, it's not a lot. It's not too much of a leap to think that they're gonna go and do every fucking thing possible on or off the books to try and save that person.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty natural, right? Like it's almost like
I don't think anybody can make a case that a CNO or a CEO of a hospital is gonna get the same treatment as a run-of-the-mill patient that comes in there looking for help.
Exactly.
That. So what
That's
she said.
That's why we don't have Medicare for all.
Yeah.
Right.
And see,
they fucking
and see.
That's the real reason.
Yeah, and look, I don't think anything that she said in that video is too far of a stretch from believable.
No.
I don't think I mean, I would be more inclined to take her at her word for what she said she witnessed. I
mean, I just don't know. Like, it's a majority Hispanic city, so I mean, aren't there's a lot of like nurses and all are also Hispanic? Like,
yeah,
like I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't buy as much into that sort of narrative because you're gonna go into a hospital, the staff is gonna be majority Hispanic as well. The doctors are Hispanic, and the nurses, obviously my mom's Hispanic, so I mean you're if there's a reason for some kind of disproportionate treatment, and the other thing, I mean, just as a nurse, I don't know like the mechanism, or I don't know like the thought process in it, because they're saying give them 3 rounds. You get 3 rounds, you get 6 minutes. But if you're a nurse in there and you're working on somebody, are you is that what does that enter into your mind frame when you're trying to save somebody's life? All right, 6 minutes, 3 rounds.
Yeah, I think it's different for all of them. Some people have more or less, like, I don't want to say empathy, but like they're able to better, take themselves out of it and just be professional about it, right? And just be like, all right, I'm going to do this shit for 6 minutes, then move on.
And see,
I mean,
and even then, what they're talking about with that 6 minute shit. I mean, what she explains it pretty well there. That's nothing.
Yeah, this is horrific, man. These women, like these nurses, are gonna have fucking PTSD from this, right? Like, this is traumatic.
I mean,
this is like type of action you see on a battlefield, right? That many people dying.
Yeah, like, and that's kind of what it flashed into my mind. It's kind of like, what? All right, how many can we save? Who's savable?
Yeah,
that's the situation. That's how precarious the situation is here.
And should never have fucking been in this situation.
No, we absolutely shouldn't. And when it's
I do think there's something to the fact that it's like like a working class city. I think, and I think there's something to that why it's not in the media as much. I think if this was in Beverly Hills, you would see it on the fucking 7 o'clock news every night, right?
Right, and like. I wonder, about that part of it too, because, I mean, here I get to hear it. I hear about it every day, so I'm in my own kind of bubble, because I know about all the fucking horrible. I don't get a firsthand account like that unless I ask for it. Then I could get a little bit more of a firsthand account of it.
And maybe I've just been looking out more because, of El Paso. But like, I feel like I have seen it more than other hotspots. Like I see El Paso mentioned more than Houston or, anywhere else in Texas.
Yeah, we're one of the larger cities. We're not close to the largest. And when, you hear, when I'm hearing that, I really don't have an answer for why there would be some sort of disproportionate treatment to the scale that she's talking about. When she's talking about mainstream media coverage and how it was in New York versus Texas.
Yeah, I just think that was different. Like if El Paso had gotten hit first, right? I think we would have had the similar kind of coverage. I mean, maybe it would have been a little different, but like, I just think it's a couple things. Like the politics of it, right? Yeah. That's definitely part of it. Like they don't want, like, as they were harping on it before, like every death, they were like, this is another death on Trump. This is another one on blood's on your hands. They're not going to be doing shit like that going forward, right?
And on Trump's head, look, I won't dispute that at all, because he had that shit. He had a pandemic response in place and he stopped it. And I don't know how big of a difference that would have made. But we've seen how effective masks are worldwide. On a worldwide scale, we know how effective masks are. And to stop a plan that was meant to give every family all the masks they needed, conceivably, what she's talking about, that is on his head. That is on his watch.
Mm-hmm.
And going forward,
misinformation and all.
But I mean, going forward, guess what? That's on Joe Biden's watch, and I think people need to be keeping an eye on him just the same way they kept an eye on Trump, and don't give him a pass because Trump was a bigger douchebag.
Yeah, it's going to be a dark winter. It really is.
We have no reason to think that in the next couple months, until Biden goes ahead and takes over, that any direction of how the pandemic has gone up until this point is going to change.
No, it's just going to keep getting worse. Like, these are, what's the term? Delayed indicators or something.
Yeah.
If it's this bad now, it's going to keep getting this bad because we've done nothing to mitigate it.
Right.
In the last 2 weeks, right? There's been no change. So
the story we covered yesterday from here, there was the county judge tried to go and do the right
Yeah.
thing to issue a lockdown for the city,
No,
and
he
the
should be the
mayor
one having to fucking. If you're gonna do that shit, you should be the one that has to go in there and fucking like do CPR and look at your watch and walk out. You know what I'm saying? Like these people should have to witness that if they're gonna pass these kind of rulings saying that they can't have a lockdown. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like these fucking rich people in charge of everything are not the ones suffering it. They're not even the ones that have to see it.
Mm-hmm.
They're just making these rulings and then they're back off to their gated community and they can zoom into work and stuff. It's fucking disgusting, man. I think.
Yeah, and
But we've talked about it all the time though. Like this is the ruling class. Like they have
and
the big
like
club
you
and
said,
you ain't in it.
and it's like and there's real world ramifications to that. It's not just the fucking Carlin line. You know what I mean? The real world implications of that is that there are two sets of treatment that sick people get when they're part of the working class and when they're not. When they're part of that upper class, there's a different set of rules. There's a different set of resources that are available to you, and it's not just about the money you have up front. It's not. And just to go
just
back
this
into
thing earlier,
hold on,
like we were talking.
Let me pull up the thing for the court cases. Oh, hold up, my fault. There we go. All right, so this is for the court blocks El Paso lockdown order as the virus deaths rise. So the Court of Appeals in Texas blocked that local lockdown, and the virus has killed 180 people in just the past month. So the judge that we were talking about, Ricardo Samaniego, he's the top elected official in the region, and he's the one that was overruled.
Wow.
See, so here we go. Ken Paxton, the state's Republican Attorney General, quickly sued and argued that Samaniego overstepped his authority by setting up restrictions that went beyond Texas governor's own pandemic-related rules. So in a 2-1 ruling, the 8th District Court appealed ruled that Samaniego did not have the authority to overstep the governor under the state's Disaster Act, which outlines powers local officials have to respond to emergencies.
Would allow for possibilities that parties might identify some standalone restrictions in the local lockdown order that do not violate the governor's rules. Like, that's fucking depraved. Like, they're saying you can't do an additional rule because the governor set forth his rules and his the only rules you can have. It's just
that's the argument, that you can't go beyond the governor's own pandemic response.
It's just sick, man. It's fucking sick country we live in. I'm just like,
and here we go. 5 mobile morgues are currently being used in El Paso. And it says the region's 7-day positivity rate has fallen about 4% over the past week, because I think people, like, when you go out to the store here, when you go out to pick up food or something like that, people are by and large wearing masks. It's not a situation where they're not. The lapses in it are open restaurants and bars, and you go in there, people are socializing and congregating, not wearing shit as if it's fucking normal. That's where the lapses are. You can tell right away where the lapses are going to be when you're in your own house, when you're at a family member's house, when you're out, when you actually do go out to a bar. And I've gone into these places to get takeout. I rush the fuck in and I rush the fuck out, but while I'm there, I can see everybody at a fucking table, and I look around like, what the hell are you all doing sitting in a fucking restaurant right now? You know, in the midst of a pandemic, how bad does this shit have to get?
Well, it's like, I think people have the mindset that, like, I'm willing to take that risk with my life, but they are just self-centered, American, like, individualists, right? They only consider the world from their own specific, their own like their own experience of it, right? Like, they're only going to take that amount of care that they have to protect themselves. And it's like, if you ask them, I'm sure they would say that, like, yeah, I'm willing to risk getting sick, not realizing that the stress that they're putting on the system through all the people they come into contact with, all the people who are going to have to deal with their ass once they get sick, these fucking nurses who are having to, like, look how traumatic that nurse was, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is all the nurses, I'm sure, or most of them. Like 50 nurses have been infected.
Yeah. I mean, they are just assholes. I mean, they're greedy, corrupt assholes, and if let me redirect.
This is the shit. Like, this is the precursor, man, because we're going to be having more of this shit. Like, as climate change gets worse, we start having mass amount of refugees in parts of the country and the world are uninhabitable.
And this is one pandemic. It's not like not like there's going to be a shortage of those. And not like climate change is conducive to stopping any kind of pandemic either when you have refugee crises because of that. But to this point, so Samaniego argued that the El Paso order was needed to prevent unprecedented levels of death in the community. Others, including the El Paso mayor, pushed back, saying the lockdown unfairly burdened small business owners and will be too great of an economic hit. Business owners have been calling.
I blame on Trump, though.
Look at this. Business owners have been calling me every day in tears, saying that DeMargo, mayor, asshole, said during a press conference on Thursday, how is the county going to provide financial assistance to business owners who still have to pay their taxes?
Yeah. Like, this is the shit I blame on Trump. The financials of it shouldn't be in the conversation, right? Like, the financial aspect of it should have just been taken care of by the government, by the federal government from day one. It should have just provided, all of your expenses and just taken care of the businesses like a normal country would do. It's just like, it's just sick. Like, we can't look at what everybody else did and follow their successful example and not put our citizens in this kind of situation. And we just keep doing it, right? They're just fucking sociopaths, man. Like,
and more than 50 registered nurses in El Paso County have been infected with COVID-19, and one of our members there has died of COVID. The National Nurses United wrote. The case has also drawn attention from local leaders in other parts of Texas, with officials in Harris, Travis, and Fort Bend counties filing court briefs supporting the lockdown order. Paxton's office, meanwhile, has warned against court filings that uphold El Paso's lockdown could lead to similar local restrictions across 254 counties. God for fucking bid. Without swift action by this court, the Texas Supreme Court, other counties may soon follow, precipitating the potential for a collapse of the state emergency plan and response by turning a unified strategy into an uncoordinated, disorganized, and conflicting 254-pronged approach that endangers the lives and livelihoods of every Texan. Do you believe that that's the fucking argument this fool's making? If there's 254 different fucking plans, it's because your plan is not good enough to control the fucking pandemic. That's on you. If local municipalities are trying to go ahead and do what they can to save their people, it's because they know that you're not doing enough.
Yeah. And they're purposely not doing enough.
Yes.
They're purposefully trying to flaunt the orders like they've been doing all along. They started trying to, like, support Trump, trying to back up with this, like, top-down narrative that the lockdowns are tyranny. And, what did that asshole say? What did Bill Barr say? It's like the greatest restraint since slavery or something.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're trying to frame everything in this, like, as it's some sort of invasion on your liberty. And it's just purposefully, you had, as soon as they started doing that, you had the fucking chud governors, DeSantis and, this guy, not what's your governor's name? Not Abbott. Abbott's the lieutenant governor.
No, Abbott is the governor. Dan Patrick's the lieutenant.
Yeah. So they had these assholes, like, deliberately coming out and trying to make as light an order as possible to keep this, like, to back up this narrative.
So Justice Yvonne Rodriguez wrote in her 32-page dissent that the governor's attempt to override local officials violates the small government ethos of the framers wove into the Texas Constitution.
Yeah,
So
Exactly. There's that too.
in the 7 days this expedited appeal was pending, the county has gone from having one refrigerated mobile morgue for the overflow of bodies to 6 refrigerated mobile morgues. How many more mobile morgues will come to El Paso before the Texas Supreme Court is able to render a final answer to the deadly riddle of which leader
PJ, I
must
think
yield?
they do. I think that the corporate interests do want that money. Like they do want the UBI. It's just they like don't know how to implement it because they know the fucked up situation with the government. Like they have to get the the Senate and Pelosi and like Mnuchin and Trump all have to agree on it, and Trump doesn't care about that shit now, right?
Yeah.
So like I guess the Senate could still pass something, but they don't care, right? Like the Republicans in the Senate don't give a fuck. They do not. They know about all this death. They know about all this, and they're going about it. And he's just like the mayor from Jaws, exactly.
Yeah.
Just the states don't have like they don't.
The mayor
they
of El
can't
Paso is
print
like
their
the
own
fucking mayor from
currency.
Jaws.
Yeah, they don't have.
And I don't.
Like,
and look, and by the way, for my local purposes, I mean, I don't know if I expect anything different from a used car salesman to come through and make the situation better in my city.
what can he do? You
Yeah.
just saw he can't do anything.
And
literally nothing he can do.
Right, and when especially look, the problem here is you don't even have a united front locally. You have a county judge fighting with a mayor who's siding with a governor against the better interest of the health of each of these individual cities.
Yeah, it's all politics.
So I mean, at least if there's some kind of united front here to protect the city, that's at least something to grab onto. But you can't even get unification on the local level.
Well, like, I wonder if so. I mean, the mayor's Republican, or they don't have parties there, or what?
Yeah, this time they didn't run. They didn't have parties like that. So,
well, I mean, you can tell from their takes that they're Republican, though, right? Like, she's.
I mean, like from that, I mean, it doesn't take a big mental jump to kind of figure out what you're thinking politically, because for some reason, a fucking pandemic, a global health crisis, is turned into a political issue as opposed to keeping what it is as a fucking health crisis. What is the material benefit to average people to politicize a fucking health crisis?
I think it is that they, at this point, they want the small businesses to go under. They want the big, the monopolies to get stronger. They want the top of the food chain to be able to suck up all these failing businesses and just increase their stranglehold on the economy. And I think they also want to have they understand that there's liability. Like if they do a shutdown, then they're responsible for the businesses that suffer, right? If they do a government mandated lockdown, then they have to have some, they're legally on the hook for some providing for the businesses that are locked down. So they want to have this facade that, oh, you weren't locked down, you were allowed to be open. It's your fault you failed. It's your fault your business went under. It's not our responsibility to give you anything. They want to have that, what's it called? The, collateral, what the fuck is it called?
What collateral damage?
No, whatever. They want to, deniability,
plausible
deniability. Yeah, they want to have that and be able to say, oh, it's not our fault that you only did 20% of business or whatever. You should have been nimble and you should have saved and that kind of thing, right? Mm-hmm. That's the argument they're going to make in court when people, because it's going to happen. They're going to be. I feel like there's going to be lawsuits challenging every aspect of this whole situation from both sides. They're going to be challenging them, saying, oh, you should have locked down, therefore this person died because there was no lockdown. and my business went under because there was no lockdown, so the pandemic wasn't dealt with. Like, it's going to be shit like that back and forth for, the next 10 years, right? Like,
All right, so
what's he saying?
So Matt's onto something. They tried to operate with the same pump and dump tactics from a previous crisis, but those previous crises weren't existential health issues like this. It was property swaps before buying up foreclosed homes.
Yeah, this is just the next level.
Right, and which that's coming too because all this shit's a fucking bubble, and it's a fucking COVID bubble that was propped up by the Fed, and at some point or another, that's gonna give way. You can't just keep artificially pumping up the stock market and thinking that's going to get you through while the pandemic is not going anywhere. But
that's what they think now, though. It's like this thing I sent you about the Alfalfa Club.
Oh, the Jeff Bezos thing.
Yeah, like these motherfuckers are like, the ruling class is fine. Like, they have all of these. They're operating as usual. They're booming, right? They're fucking stoked, right? Like, they have all of them.
See, COVID straight up reset the marketplaces all over, and I think we're seeing old capital freaking the fuck out. No one's driving, flying, touristing, none of that shit. I mean,
and those industries are getting bailed out too.
Yeah, and that's why they're bailing them out too. Because to your point, maybe they are freaking out.
Look at the stock market. That's let's go to. That's all fake. This whole $3 trillion has been pumped in to maintain the stock market, to maintain the status quo. Like, that shit has barely moved. Like, some stocks have moved, like the stuff that's making money because they've done their insider trading and all. But like, they've put so much money into keeping this bubble inflated when it should have had a reset and crash by now, just like in 08, right? That should have happened by now, and they purposely kept it from happening. And I don't know what their long-term plan is, but these people aren't going to suffer at all. They're going to make sure that whatever the crash is, it's going to be making sure that the regular people are the ones who are left holding the bag when it finally crashes. Like, these people are gathering, there's Jared and Ivanka, there's like Mitt Romney, there's Bill Gates, like all these fucking people hanging out together. Like, this is the shit that they're up to, like.
Jeff Bezos would have to spend $100K per day for the next 2,200 years just to run out of money that he made during the COVID pandemic.
Just during the pandemic. Like, they're sick, man. This is like, I don't even want to say sick, so I don't want to excuse it. They know what they're doing. They're doing it on purpose. This is the kind of shit that they're doing. This is what the ruling class is up to still.
George Bush, Dick Cheney, Senator Darrell O'Connor, Condi Rice, John McCain, Alan Greenspan were spotted arriving at the off-the-record dinner, but President Obama skipped the festivities this year, leaving Treasury Secretary Timothy Garden. I mean, that's part of that Alfalfa Club, though.
Yeah, that's from 2010. Yeah. But it's still going on. Like, they had one this year, like, this is the shit that they're up to. Like...
Yeah, I mean, it's still. I mean, we talk about a club. I mean, I didn't think it was an actual fucking membership.
Yeah, it is an actual club to celebrate a fucking racist general, Civil War general, right?
Essentially, is what it sounds like, right? I mean, why is it on his birthday?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I have zero faith in Biden's ability to handle this any differently, and I think they're, as much as they're like negotiating now, it's negotiating, let that still be a thing. Yeah. Like, it's a big club and you ain't in it. Yep. Literally.
Yep.
Right.
So, let's jump over to some wrap up on the election stuff, because they finally called all the states. CNN did anyway. Final score for y'all. There we go. Oh, let me see. What am I doing? Where is it? Final score 306 to 232.
Isn't that's pretty close to what we said, right?
That's what we said after the fact. We had initially predicted it at 299, but we didn't think that Biden was going to flip Georgia, and then we had Florida and Pennsylvania flipped around. That was about the only difference. But yeah, let's see.
It's because we had all those brave, never Trump Republicans, right? That's what flipped it, right?
Yeah, PJ had it at 290, so Biden outperformed my number. Yeah, we did two maps. So we had a conservative map, which had Biden right at 270, and then we had one that we just curved the polls just a little bit to make it at 299, where we ended up having our official, I guess we want to call it, prediction. But Nate Silver went ahead and released the numbers of how far off that all of the pollsters were off. Well, and that was part of our evaluation. Really was including into our analysis how far off they were last time into them being that wrong this time. And even then, we were, not exact, but it came out a little bit more accurate. So,
and the polls were more accurate this time?
No, it came out more accurate by us going and assuming that they were gonna fuck up.
Oh.
So, but here we go, because the pollsters would have had Biden with a 351 point performance on election night, but this is how the polling areas were in swing states. Wisconsin was Trump plus 8.
So Trump did 8 points better
than his number that they had predicted. Iowa plus 7, Florida plus 6, Michigan plus 5, Texas plus 5, Ohio plus 5, New Hampshire plus 4, Trump plus 4 in what was this? Maine, Pennsylvania plus 3, North Carolina plus 2, Nevada plus 2. What's this? Minnesota plus 2, Virginia plus 2, Arizona plus 2, New Mexico plus 1, Georgia plus 1. The only one that was off in Biden's favor was Colorado plus 1 for Biden.
No shy Trump voters there.
I mean, what do you make from that, bro? Because we were told before is that they were going to include analysis for a Trump shy voter, and it was
they tried to do
even
more
off than before.
Well, they tried to oversample non-college educated white people, right? Because that was the bulk of Trump's base. But I think a lot of it, like I said, I think a lot of it was baked into the demographics is destiny bullshit, right? They were giving.
Yeah, essentially this is what I come away with. His polling methods are garbage.
Well, I think it was pretty across the board, though, right? Because I think I've heard people defend Silver. Silver is not a pollster, right? He's just a poll, consolidator or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily blame him. I mean, I blame him for his dumb takes. But this is the people at Rasmussen and Siena Times and the New York Times, and that's this shit. Those people don't know what the fuck they're doing, and I'll never trust them again. I don't think, right?
We did have some movement on the fraud front, though. There was a instance of voter fraud that was uncovered.
Oh, did you see my man Big John Fetterman?
No. Here we go. Look at this one. Boom. Trump supporter arrested for requesting absentee ballot for dead mother.
No, did you see?
So the president accuses Democrats of voter fraud, but one of his supporters became the first person in Pennsylvania County charged with the crime in 30 years. Just to give y'all an idea of where we're at in relation to concern for voter fraud. First case in 30 years. I mean, I guess this person brought into the hype that it's really easy to commit voter fraud, but so Donald Trump had a colorful imagination when it comes to this fictitious specter of voter fraud. Actual cases of people impersonating a registered voter in order to artificially alter vote totals are I can't even say that word because that's how rare it is. Trump has repeatedly claimed without evidence that mail-in voting, which states have made more available this election cycle due to COVID-19, is a magnet for fraud. But to the extent that voter fraud is a problem this year, Trump might want to take a closer look at his own supporters. So, Robert Lynn, a registered Republican and Trump supporter in a battleground state of Pennsylvania, was arrested on Wednesday for allegedly requesting an absentee ballot for his mother who died in 2015.
Damn.
Yep.
There was that.
67 years old, and says that he's it says a resident of Luzerne County, a largely white working class political bellwether that Barack Obama won twice and swung hard for Trump in 2016.
Luzerne. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
did you see Big John's tweet?
No,
Big John, he was throwing shade at your governor, or at Abbott. I don't know if he's your governor or your
No, he's my
lieutenant governor. I thought I sent it to you earlier.
No, I didn't catch that.
Let me try to find it. This is a different one. Let me play that one while I'm looking.
All right. Well, let's keep going down the road of MAGA cope, since that is I'd say that's a variation of MAGA cope, right?
Yeah.
So
here, this one.
All right,
this shit on the screen.
What do you got? What you send it?
Big John. I heard he was a socialist too. I don't know anything about him, but I heard somebody describe him as a democratic socialist.
Let's see. Pennsylvania Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman had a few choice words for Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. There you go. Yeah, that piece of work.
That's his name, Patrick.
Yeah, Dan Patrick's a fucking asshole too. After Patrick offered a $1 million reward from his own campaign to find anybody who can come forward with reporting voter fraud in the 2020 presidential election. See, I like to collect your handsome reward for reporting voter fraud. I got a dude in 44, Pennsylvania, who tried to have his dead mom vote for Trump. I'd like mine in Sheets gift cards, please. P.S. The Cowboys blow. All right, wait a minute, bro. All right, I was with you until the end there. Look, we're having a down year, bro. We're just having a down year.
Big John.
Hey, we're just having a down year, Matt. We just
gift cards.
Look, we lost our quarterback. Also Dan Patrick fucking sucks. But
the best part is that he asked for it in Sheets gift cards. That's like a gas station.
Yeah. Well, okay, so let's keep doing this. The MAGA Cope actually is pretty still entertaining at this point. So there was a voter fraud hotline over here that Trump set up. There we go. And it ended in a whimper after the campaign was flooded with prank phone calls, of which Matt contributed heavily, I imagine. There we go. Let me just move this a little bit out the way. Yeah, see right there, no comment, huh, bro? Yeah, I caught you red-handed on that one. Huh?
I can't hear it.
Well, it's not playing anything. I'm just scrolling it down.
Oh.
See, so the Trump campaign ended a hotline that established last week that for people to report voter fraud allegations after the line was filled with prank phone calls.
Oh, they should release the best of.
Yes. Look at you see, like now you got Cowboy Cope. All right, look, I need my Cowboy Cope.
Oh, I bet you CNN. I bet you they had.
Excuse me.
I'll bet you they had news people in there.
Yeah, so the campaign established a conference room dedicated to the hotline where staffers could take the calls. CNN reported, however, unidentified sources told the outlet that many of the calls were spam or individuals mocking the hotline. I mean, bro, you let me know what kind of shit were you telling them?
I don't know, man. I should have prank called him. That would have been funny.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been mad at you, bro. So let's see. ABC News
should
reported.
Watch this video.
See, which one? Well, so ABC News reported last week that the hotline, which also directed callers to a voicemail box, was flooded with messages mocking the campaign in wake of Joe Biden winning the race for the White House. The president's son, Eric Trump, last week claimed the Democratic National Committee was spamming our voter fraud hotline, although he did not provide evidence for the allegation. So the Associated Press and other news organizations project that Biden has won the election. We'll keep going through it about the more. We have a lot more MAGA coat, everybody. I got I got some shit saved up.
I don't know why they didn't try to spin it like it was.
This is from this. Okay, so let's go back to John Fetterman.
I don't know why they didn't try to spin that like it was some sort of Chinese interference or Iranian interference like they were trying to do before the election. Right? Yeah. Remember?
They could have. I mean, I see some MAGA chuds going out there and saying, "Oh, well, the libs aren't allegating voter fraud now that they won. Where's the Where's their? Yeah, I mean,
remember they had that Proud Boys thing? They tried to blame on Iran. Those Proud Boys emails.
Yeah. Well, let's go to. Let's go to the governor here.
Matt doesn't care about his feelings.
He's lieutenant governor.
Oh yeah, lieutenant governor.
You can't hear it.
Bottom line. If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, the president would be on deck to have a better Thanksgiving than he's going to have. You know, math doesn't care about his feelings, doesn't care about anyone's feelings. The math in Pennsylvania is damning for the president. Like, let's, these contested late ballots, 10,000, like, oh no, we're going to take that to the Supreme Court. Like, take it to the Supreme Court. You know what? Spot the president, all 10,000 for all I care, because the vice president is going to be up 50, 60,000 votes when all the counting is done, if not more. The bottom line is that there is no truth to any of this. And at some point, we all have to collectively accept that yelling voter fraud when there is no evidence whatsoever of it is yelling fire in a crowded theater, and it is harming the democratic franchise of our country and the peaceful transition to power, and we cannot accept that. The fraud that we know that has occurred in Pennsylvania in this cycle is a registered Republican in Luzerne County tried to vote for Trump with his dead mother's ballot. Other than that, no, we have not witnessed any voter fraud here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, let me just pause that really fast. The Brennan Center for Justice puts the rate of voter fraud at less than 0.0009%.
It looks likely that Joe Biden is going to be the next president of the United States. It's not 100% certain, but it is quite likely. And so I think a transition process ought to begin. If it turns out that the unlikely scenario actually comes about and it turns out President Trump is determined to have won this election after all, then the transition, of course, becomes moot and it expires and it evaporates.
Aww.
He wanted voter fraud, and from one fellow lieutenant governor to another, it's like, he can pay me really and cheat gift cards, that would be fine. And the bottom line is like, my dude wants voter fraud. I delivered in Pennsylvania because that is the one lone case of voter fraud documented right now as of this airing. And again, this needs to stop. It's absurd.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's gonna pay him.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt it. Republicans aren't gonna be following through on any kind of commitment, and I don't think they care about voter fraud when it occurs against their favor. Let's keep the mojo going here. So a Pennsylvania court today.
That's what like a real alpha looks like. Like they've been dancing around with Trump. Like they have this whole like MAGA worldview, this like mythology where that is what a tough guy is. Like they have somehow explained to themselves that this like real estate guy, like this flashy New York real estate guy is somehow like tough, and he's just like such a big sissy.
So there we go. So today, a Pennsylvania court has rejected 5 Trump campaign GOP legal challenges for the ballots. So 0 for 5 just today, bro. Let's
to be fair, they're probably getting pretty.
So McEnany, he's dodging questions about Trump attending Biden's inauguration. He'll attend his own inauguration. The cope is that hard. Let me go to this Sam Cedar video over on Majority Report really fast because she came out on one of the talk shows and just made a complete ass of herself. So
good for her.
There you go.
Here is Kayleigh McEnany. This is sort of fascinating. She's on Fox and Friends. She is the White House press secretary. So sometimes you'll hear you'll see a briefing at the Pentagon. And the Pentagon press secretary will say, I don't have any information on that. You're going to have to go ask Treasury, or you're going to have to go ask the White House. So here is Kayleigh McEnany, the White House press secretary on Fox and Friends.
A Republican, he said, listen, give Joe Biden the presidential daily brief. After all, Senator, Harris she's on the Intel committee. She's getting, she has high-level security access. Has the president considered that?
I haven't spoken to the president about that. That would be a question more for the White House, but I will say that all laws are being followed with regard to an expected transition, though we expect to continue on as the Trump administration. We will see how our litigation goes.
A Republican, he said.
There you go. So have you, are you doing the things you're supposed to do by law in terms of this transition? You'd have to ask the White House.
Oh.
Is she asking, like saying, like literally ask the White House? Wouldn't you ask the White House press secretary, who you are?
Where are the comments?
That's a.
Oh man, I mean, so
Kaylee's so good at her job.
Yo,
she's the most competent in the administration.
How you know? It's a good time to rank them since we're listful. We have graduation goggles a little bit here. We had we had 3 press secretaries that come to mind in the Trump administration. Sean Spicer, was there Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and now we had Kayleigh McEnany.
I don't know. Maybe I forget the other one. I mean, I feel like Spicer was pretty terrible.
He was the one that came out and gave us the greatest hit of. It was the largest inauguration in history. Period.
Yeah, I think Kayleigh's the best at her job, though. I really do. Like, I think she's really good at like not giving them anything, and then like she's shameless enough that she like just talks her way out of anything. She always finds a way to like tiptoe out of it.
Does Spicer get points for winning or for being on Dancing of the Stars? Oh wait, that's right. Scaramucci, forgot about the Mooch. The Mooch was press secretary Mooch for all of like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. Let's see if there's like a video, like a compilation.
Well, you know the thing that I loved was when the last White House, the last attendee for the what do you call it? The thing that Michelle Wolf did. Fucking trying to remember what they call it. The Correspondence Center. The Correspondence Center.
Oh yeah.
So you know every year the president would come out there, they'd roast him a little bit, it'd be all good natured and shit, but fucking Trump was so damn I mean, he was so damn sensitive, he couldn't stand to get roasted in person for a little while. The last time I remember he went to one was when Obama roasted him about the whole birther thing, and they played it the Lion King about showing his birth and shit. And what was the other part of it? Obama went in about, last night I saw you on The Apprentice, and you had to decide where to fire, what is his name, Gary Busey, and I just could not figure out how to put myself in such a difficult situation. That's the kind of decisions that would keep me up at night. Yeah, I mean, my Obama's not the best in the world, but I hope that was
That's
okay.
a pretty good
you.
Obama. Here, I found the video.
All right,
2016.
Yeah, which one's this one?
Let me make sure it's the right one.
Yep.
April.
Yeah. Well, right now we'll play up your flaws. Thanks, bro.
I want to see Obama roast them.
Yeah, let's see. Play that one, and then we'll go to Michelle Wolf. So what happened at the Michelle Wolf one, and this was the last time I think that anybody that came from the White House went to the fucking thing.
What a bunch of fucking pussies. Like, ugh.
Well, what happened was Trump didn't go, and Sarah Huckabee Sanders went in her stead. And then they made I think for a little bit, they tried to make it like if she was making a sexist remark. Yeah, they tried to make it like Michelle Wolf was being sexist with her jokes about Sarah Huckabee Sanders, overlooking the fact that Michelle Wolf herself is a woman. So let's go. All right, let's go. Let's go with the big O.
I hate it when they, like, the judge try to be woke.
At the White
It's
House
like,
Correspondence
shut up, man.
What a week. As some of you heard, the state of Hawaii released
my official long-form birth certificate. Hopefully, this puts all doubts to rest. But just in case there are any lingering questions, tonight, I'm prepared to go a step further. Tonight, for the first time, I am releasing my official birth video.
Hope y'all can hear in the chat. If not, I can turn it up.
Now, I warn you, no one has seen this footage in 50 years.
Too many windows.
Not even me. But let's take a look.
That's actually my alarm clock in the mornings, bro.
So, that was when he was running?
No. That was,
So that was
this
April?
was before. This
oh,
was before.
2011.
Yeah, this
Oh,
was 2011.
Michelle Wolf thing was when he was running?
Yeah, no, this was the Michelle Wolf was after he won. It was the first year.
2016, no?
Yeah, no,
so
that
he
was
went
after he
the
won.
first year?
No, I don't think he did. It was Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and that was the last time that they did it. Because man, how long was Spicer there?
News table. That was a joke.
It seemed like they were there like the same amount of time, right?
My real birth video. That was a children's cartoon. Call Disney if you don't believe me. They have the original long-form version.
Right, yeah, that's what I thought. He never went because they were gonna make fun of him, and he's a big wet baby. Exactly.
You
know, and if you look at, he did a roast at Comedy Central, and I mean, I think even that was too much for him.
Someone should get to the bottom of that, and I know just the guy to do it. Donald Trump.
Ooh,
is here tonight.
There he is. You know, in retrospect, he probably shouldn't have roasted him. He might have not run for president.
He's taken some flack lately, but no one is happy.
Why did he do that? Like,
to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald.
Oh.
And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter.
Oh shit.
Like, did we fake the moon landing?
Oh.
What really happened in Roswell? And where are Biggie and Tupac?
I still want an answer, bro. I still want an answer on that last one.
All kidding aside, obviously we all know
Look at
about
him.
your credentials and breadth of
Look at
experience.
him, he's seething.
Oh, he is.
For example, no, seriously, just recently in an episode of Celebrity Apprentice,
Oh, look at it, check it out.
at the steakhouse, the men's cooking team did not impress the judges from Omaha Steaks. And there was a lot of blame to go around, but you, Mr. Trump, recognized that the real problem was a lack of leadership. And so ultimately you didn't blame Little John or Meatloaf.
Ooh, shit.
You fired Gary Busey. And these are the kind of decisions that would keep me up at night.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Owned. God damn. Man, fuck Obama, but he owned him. Man, fuck Obama,
Well
but he
handled, sir.
owned him.
Well handled.
He's crying inside, isn't he?
Say what you will about Mr. Trump. He certainly would bring some change to the White House. Let's see what we've got up there.
Oh, no. That's true. That is 100% true. All right, let's go to let's keep this comedy thing going, man. Let's go to Michelle Wolf. Michelle.
Without further ado, please welcome Michelle Wolf.
I hope y'all don't mind watching a little bit of comedy stuff, but yeah, let's go. Let's watch them. Let's watch them, Michelle Wolf. This they realize like 5 minutes in they fucked up in hiring her to do this.
All right, this is long. This has
she
been
went too
long.
hard?
Oh, she didn't go too hard. She just went too hard for their feelings.
Good evening. Good evening. Here we are, the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Like a porn star says when she's about to have sex with a Trump, let's get this over with. Yep, kiddos, this is here getting tonight. I'm going to skip a lot of the normal pleasantries. We're at a Hilton. It's not nice. This is on C-SPAN. No one watches that. Trump is president. It's not ideal.
Oh, shit.
White House Correspondents Association, thank you for having me. The monkfish was fine.
Oh. Man,
And just a reminder to everyone, I'm here to make jokes. I have no agenda. I'm not trying to get anything accomplished. So everyone that's here from Congress, you should feel right at home. Now, before we get too far, a little bit about me. A lot of you might not know who I am. I'm 32 years old, which is an odd age. 10 years too young to host this event, and 20 years too old for Roy Moore.
Ooh.
I know, he almost got elected.
Yeah, and she's not even fucking lying about that.
It was fun. Honestly, I never really thought I'd be a comedian, but I did take an aptitude test in 7th grade, and this is 100% true. I took an aptitude test in 7th grade, and it said my best profession was a clown or a mime. Well, at first it said clown, and then it heard my voice and was like, or maybe mime. Think about mime. And I know as much as some of you might want me to, it's 2018 and I'm a woman, so you cannot shut me up. Unless you have Michael Cohen wire me $130,000.
Oh, I think I hear it
Michael,
now.
you can find me on Venmo under my porn star name, Reince Priebus.
Oh.
Yeah, for a second I heard it.
The Mueller stuff is a little bit. Oh, can you hear? Can y'all hear?
I wasn't here. Now I hear you. I didn't hear anything for a minute.
All right, can y'all? Hold up. Can y'all hear it now? Now, did it completely die out, or is it back?
Reince Priebus. That's like the best Republican name ever.
Yeah, audio cut out. All right, hold up. I wonder what happened here. All right, give me a second, guys.
Is my mic loud?
It doesn't sound too bad. I mean, see, system audio's cut out. Or what the hell happened here? Huh. I'll have to figure this thing out again. Hold on. All right, let's see.
Never mind. Okay.
All right, let's see what we got here now. System audio. Oh, it just completely cut out. Oh, what the hell happened now? Wow. All right. That is weird.
They have a bot that senses when the Obama and Michelle Wolf back to back is played, and then it cuts you out.
That has to be it, bro. Because for some reason they completely cut out the audio. I mean, you see that shit? It skipped for a little bit, and then yeah, and then now
Michelle
I can't get
Wolf
anything
is
to play.
Too powerful.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened there, bro.
Well, yeah, Trump got owned. I mean, part of me thinks like, I guess it's hard to say who started it. I guess Trump was a racist, right? Like,
right.
As far as I'm concerned, like after he did the Central Park 5 thing, that gives anybody like, free reign to talk shit anytime after that. So like, and then he did the birther thing too, though. Yeah, man, fucking Trump started it, right?
Right.
And
yeah.
then like he couldn't take it when Obama hit back.
Well,
right?
I mean, the Hillary thing, I mean, the Hillary was using that to a certain extent as well.
Yeah, Hillary 100% thought that Pied Piper was going to work. She thought he was a fucking oaf and that no way anybody would go for him. And she was 100% in on that, right? And then, like,
let's see if I got it back now.
Just fucking. Like,
there is a lot
there we
to
go.
cover tonight. There's a lot to go over.
All right, how's that?
That
should be back.
All
right, that should be back.
I know there's a lot of people that want me to talk about Russia and Putin.
We good over there in the chat?
But I'm not going to do that because there's also a lot of liberal media here. And I've never really wanted to know what any of you look like when you orgasm. Except maybe you, Jake Tapper. I bet it's something like this. Okay, that's all the time we have.
I hope y'all stuck with us through that little bit of a glitch, but shit.
It is kind of crazy that the Trump campaign was in contact with Russia when the Hillary campaign wasn't even in contact with Michigan.
Oh, shit. she was for all comers, bro. That's what was the best part of it.
Of course, Trump isn't here, if you haven't noticed.
The libs don't like
He's
that,
not
man.
here.
They don't like
And
being reminded that Hillary dropped the ball.
I would drag him here myself, but it turns out the President of the United States is the one pussy you're not allowed to grab.
Oh.
He said it first. Yeah, he did.
He did.
Now, I know people really want me to go after Trump tonight, but I think we should give the president credit when he deserves it. Like, he pulled out of the Paris Agreement. And I think he should get credit for that because he said he was going to pull out, and then he did, and that's a refreshing quality in a man. Most men are like, I forgot. I'll get you next time. Oh, there's going to be a next time?
Oh, shit.
When people say romance is dead.
It's like pretty edgy.
People call Trump names all the time. And look, I could call Trump a racist or a misogynist or xenophobic or unstable or incompetent or impotent. But he's heard all of those and he doesn't care. So tonight, I'm going to try to make fun of the president in a new way, in a way that I think will really get him. Mr. President, I don't think you're very rich.
Oh.
Like, I think you might be rich in Idaho, but in New York, you're doing fine. Trump is the only person that still watches Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and thinks, me.
Oh, no.
Although I'm not sure you'd get very far. He'd get to, like, the third question and be like, I have to phone a Fox and Friend. We're going to try a fun new thing, okay? I'm going to say Trump is so broke, and you guys go, how broke is he?
Oh,
all right?
They're
Trump
doing a bit.
is so broke. How broke is he? He has to fly failed business class. Trump is so broke. How broke is he? He looked for foreign oil in Don Jr.'s hair.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Trump is so broke. How broke is he? Southwest used him as one of their engines. I know, it's so soon. It's so soon for that joke. Why did she tell it? It's so soon. Trump is so broke. He had to borrow money from the Russians, and now he's compromised and not susceptible to blackmail and possibly responsible for the collapse of the Republic.
Oh, shit.
Yay! It's a fun game. Trump is racist, though.
Like, what?
He loves white nationalists, which is a weird term for a Nazi. Calling a Nazi a white nationalist is like calling a pedophile a kid friend. Or Harvey Weinstein a ladies' man.
Oh, Jesus, no.
Which isn't really fair. He also likes plants.
Wow.
Trump's also an idea guy. He's got loads of ideas. You gotta love him for that. He wants to give teachers guns. And I support that, because then they can sell them for things they need, like supplies. A lot of protractors.
Yeah, for y'all that haven't seen it, this is fucking
A
edgy
lot of
as
people
fuck.
want
It's
Trump
brutal.
to be impeached. I do
I'm
not.
sure I saw it at some point.
Because
I
just
forgot
when
all
you
the
think
jokes
Trump is awful, you remember Mike Pence.
Oh god, yeah, she went at
Mike
Pence too.
Pence is
Forgot
what
about
happens
that.
when Anderson Cooper isn't
Mike
gay.
Pence. Anderson Cooper, what?
Is he
Mike
gay?
Pence is the kind of guy that brushes his teeth and then drinks orange juice and thinks, Mike Pence is also very anti-choice. He thinks abortion is murder, which, first of all, don't knock it till you try it.
Oh,
And when you do try it, really knock it. You know, you gotta get that baby out of there.
oh my god.
And yeah, sure,
Triggered
you can
half the fucking
groan
room.
all you want. I know a lot of you are very anti-abortion, you know, unless it's the one you got for your secret mistress.
Ooh, damn.
It's fun how values
Quarter
can
of the room
waver.
just fucking flinched.
But good for you.
Yeah.
Mike Pence is a weirdo, though. He's a weird little guy. He won't meet with other women without his wife present. When people first heard this, they were like, that's crazy. But now in this current climate, they're like, that's a good witness. Which, of course, brings me to the Me Too movement. It's probably the reason I'm here. They were like, a woman's probably not going to jerk off in front of anyone, right?
Oh,
And to that I say, don't count your chickens. There's a lot of parties.
damn, man.
Now, I've worked in a lot of male-dominated fields. Before comedy, I worked at a tech company, and before that,
she was
I
on The
worked on
Daily
Wall
Show.
Street. And honestly, I've never really been sexually
I don't know who
harassed.
she is.
That being said, I did work at Bear Stearns in 2008. So although I haven't been sexually harassed, I've definitely been fucked. Yeah, that whole company went down on me without my consent. And no man got in trouble for that one either.
Get it. Get it.
No, things are
Bear Stearns.
changing. Men are being held
Who goes to these
accountable.
things?
All the press.
You know, Al Franken was ousted. That one really hurt
politicians?
liberals.
Yeah, them
But I
too.
believe it was the great
There's, like,
Ted
Bernie go?
Kennedy who said,
I didn't see him there.
Wow,
Oh, wait,
that's
actually, yeah, he was that
crazy.
one.
I murdered a woman. Chappaquiddick in theaters now.
Oh.
I did have a lot of jokes. I had a lot of jokes about cabinet members, but I had to scrap all of those because everyone has been fired.
Oh, damn, I forgot
You
that.
guys are going through cabinet members quicker than Starbucks throws out black people.
That's crazy, right? To think about, like, she was in.
No, don't worry.
hold on.
They're having an
She was like a tech bro?
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
she was a tech bro. She was in a bunch of different professional settings.
she worked at Bear Stearns?
I mean, she worked
really?
at Bear freaking Stern. So, I mean, that's a little bit crazy. Well, let me see if I can pull up this comment really fast. Yeah, see. Yeah, it was a professional field before even
So
doing
she
comedy.
just
That's nuts.
probably like did stand up at night on the weekends or whatever, and she was just funny.
Yeah.
Kept at it, right?
Let's keep it going.
She was probably
Afternoon.
funny as fuck at work.
That'll solve it. We just needed an afternoon. Mitch McConnell isn't here tonight. He had a prior engagement. He's finally getting his neck circumcised. Mazel. Paul Ryan also couldn't make it. Of course, he's already been circumcised. Unfortunately, while they were down there, they also took his balls. Yeah, bye, Paul. Great acting, though, in that video.
What video?
Republicans are easy to make fun of. You know, it's like shooting fish in a Chris Christie. But I also want to make fun of Democrats.
All right.
Democrats are harder to make fun of because you guys don't do anything. People think you might flip the House and Senate this November, but you guys always find a way to mess it up. You're somehow going to lose by 12 points to a guy named Jeff Pedophile Nazi Doctor. Oh, he's a doctor.
It's not even a lie.
We should definitely talk about the women in the Trump administration.
Jeff Pedophile
There's
Nazi
Kellyanne
Doctor.
Conway.
There you go,
Man,
Kellyanne
she
Conway.
has the perfect last name for what she does.
Claudia's mom is so
Ooh.
cringe.
Conway.
Conway.
It's like if my name was Michelle Jokes Frizzy Hair Small Tits. You guys gotta stop putting Kellyanne on your shows. All she does is lie. If you don't give her a platform, she has nowhere to lie. It's like that old saying, if a tree falls in the woods, how do we get Kellyanne under that tree? I'm not suggesting she gets hurt, just stuck. Stuck under a tree.
That's great.
Incidentally, a tree falls in the woods is Scott Pruitt's definition of porn.
Oh, she wasn't there.
Oh, there she is. There she is.
Yeah, we all
There,
have
no,
our
no, there
things.
she is.
She was there.
She was there. Look at her. Wait, let's back that up. Let's back that up. Sorry, guys, but yeah, let's back that shit up. Look at that. Yeah, she's not having a good time.
Yeah, we all have our kinks. There's also, of course, Ivanka. She was supposed to be an advocate for women, but it turns out she's about as helpful to women as an empty box of tampons.
Oh.
What?
She's done nothing to satisfy women. So I guess, like
there?
father, like daughter.
Oh.
Oh, you don't think he's good in bed. Come on.
Man, that room is not
nice,
feeling it.
though. Ivanka cleans up nice. She's the diaper genie of the administration.
Yeah, once they
On
made
the
fun of
outside,
somebody who
she
was
looks
there, they
sleek,
didn't like
but the
it.
inside, it's still full of shit. And of course, we have Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
There we go. There we
are
go.
graced with Sarah's presence tonight. I have to say, I'm a little starstruck. I love you as Aunt Lydia on The Handmaid's Tale.
Oof.
Mike Pence, if you haven't seen it, you would love it. Every time Sarah steps up to the podium, I get excited because I'm not really sure what we're gonna get. You know, a press briefing, a bunch of lies, or divided into softball teams.
Oh, shit.
It's shirts and skins, and this time don't be such a little bitch, Jim Acosta.
Imagine really win that fucking with Jim Acosta too. That's just
I
awesome.
actually really like Sarah. I think she's very resourceful. Like, she burns facts, and then she uses that ash to create a perfect smoky eye.
Yeah, that was the comment that they said was like
Maybe
sexist,
she's
or
born with it.
they got
Maybe
really
it's lies.
they got really fucking frazzled over that.
Really lies.
She makes.
Complimented
And
her
I'm
makeup.
not really sure what to call Sarah Huckabee Sanders. You know, is it Sarah Sanders? Is it Sarah Huckabee Sanders? Is it Cousin Huckabee? Is it Auntie Huckabee Sanders? Like, what's Uncle Tom but for white women who disappoint other white women?
Oh shit.
Oh, I know, Aunt Coulter.
Oh fuck.
We've got our friends at CNN here. Welcome, guys. It's great to have you. You guys love
She
breaking
knew she was
news.
gonna get roasted.
And
Isn't
you
that
did
the thing?
it. You broke it.
You broke
Good work.
it. You broke it.
The most useful information on CNN is when Anthony Bourdain tells me where to eat noodles.
Oh.
Fox News is here, so you know what that means, ladies. Cover your drinks.
Oh. No.
Seriously. People want me to make fun of Sean Hannity tonight, but I cannot do that. This dinner's for journalists. We've got MSNBC here. MSNBC's new slogan is, "This is who we are." Guys, it's not a good slogan. This is who we are is what your mom thinks the sad show on NBC is called. Did you watch This Is Who We Are this week? Someone left on a crock pot and everyone died.
Damn.
I watch Morning Joe every morning.
also
We now know
terrible.
that Mika and Joe are engaged. Congratulations, you guys. It's like when a Me Too works out.
That was perfect. That
We also
fucking
have
nailed
Rachel
it.
Maddow. We cannot forget about
Nailed
Rachel
it.
Maddow. She is the Peter Pan of MSNBC.
Oh, dude.
But instead of never growing up, she never gets to the point. Watching Rachel Maddow is like going to Target. You went in for milk, but you left with shampoo, candles, and the entire history of the Byzantine Empire.
Oh shit.
I didn't need this. And of course, Megyn Kelly. What would I do without Megyn Kelly? You know, probably be more proud of women. Megyn Kelly got paid $23 million by NBC. Then NBC didn't let Megyn go to the Winter Olympics. Why not? She's so white, cold, and expensive, she might as well be the Winter Olympics. And by the way, Megyn, Santa's black. The weird-eyed old guy going through your chimney was Bill O'Reilly.
Oh,
You might want to put a flu on it or something.
oh, dude.
There's a lot of print media here. There's a ton of you guys, but I'm not going to go after print media tonight because it's illegal to attack an endangered species.
Oh.
By newspapers. There's a ton of news right now. A lot is going on, and we have all these 24-hour news networks, and we could be covering everything. But instead, we're covering like 3 topics. Every hour, it's Trump, Russia, Hillary, and a panel of 4 people that remind you why you don't go home for Thanksgiving. Oh. Milk comes from nuts now, all because of the gays. You guys are obsessed with Trump. Did you used to date him? Because you pretend like you hate him, but I think you love him.
Oh, she ain't lying.
I think what no one in this room wants to admit is that Trump has helped all of you.
Yo.
He couldn't sell steaks or vodka or water or college or ties or Eric. But he has helped you. He's helped you sell your papers and your books and your TV.
Yo.
You helped create this monster, and now you're profiting off of him.
Wow.
And if you're gonna profit off of Trump, you should at least give him some money because he doesn't have any.
I think
Trump is so broke.
How
He
broke
grabs
is he?
pussies because he thinks there might be loose change in them.
Oh.
All right, like an immigrant who was
Zing.
brought here by his parents and didn't do anything wrong. I gotta get the fuck out of here tonight. Flint still doesn't have clean water.
Down.
Yeah, I think she's
Yo.
like on the left.
Yo, she has to be. I mean, like, she shat on both parties.
Yeah, and she did it properly. Right?
And
like
all the fucking media.
Yeah, she revealed her power levels.
Yo,
right?
And yeah, that and afterwards, I don't think they haven't. I don't think they've had another one, or at least not another one that's gotten as much attention, right? Because I mean, for a while you were when they were watching these things. Yeah, she has to be.
Okay, so she is. Yeah, she knows.
She knows. But if anybody knows,
It's crazy
I haven't seen
that they
it.
booked her though.
Yeah,
Like,
I think afterwards they immediately regretted it.
why didn't they book like a lib comic? You know, like Trevor Noah or someone like that. I guess they
I don't
wanted
think
a
Trevor
woman.
Noah's as big at them because what they had before, they had Seth
okay.
Meyers, they had Colbert do it once, they had Larry Wilmore, and so they had a few of these different guys that had been in that Daily Show circle.
I mean, I don't know if I'd say like Seth Meyers like a leftist, but like he's definitely like a Bernie bro at least.
Yeah.
You know? Like you can
I
tell,
think he's
like,
a little bit. I mean, he's better than Colbert. I'll say that.
I mean, you could just tell by like the way he interviewed them. I feel like he was rooting for Bernie.
Yeah, no, definitely. Let's see, bro. I had a bunch of other stuff still bookmarked out here. Oh yeah, did we even talk about the rally? There's gonna be a rally.
The Million MAGA rally.
Yeah, so check it out here. So with the MAGA cope, Trump is saying he's gonna stop by the planned Million MAGA rally in DC.
They're just doing it to make Trump feel better.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
I guess they're bringing him some kind of cope gift.
Well, like, what are they doing in DC? Like,
so yeah, it's gonna be on Saturday.
I know, but it's just like a white power rally, though. It's not.
I mean,
like,
essentially, I mean, do you think they're gonna be armed?
What do you? I mean, I don't know what the rule is in DC, but if it's against the law, they won't be. But like, do you think that it's like, why didn't they go to like Pennsylvania and like protest?
They're going to the midst of DC.
Yeah. Well, they think the votes in DC were fake too, and they're actually real
trying
conservative
to
there?
flip those.
Yeah, well, like the DC vote.
Well, let's see. So, what? Look at this. The president's refusal to concede the election has sparked dissent regarding the handling of 2020 elections process among many of his supporters. A Political Morning Consult poll reported 70% of Republicans do not think Biden won a free and fair election.
Whoa!
70%. Jesus, man. That's insane. That's a pretty insane number. So, The poll that I had seen before, I got from Kyle that he pulled up. It said that 40%. Yeah, it was something about 40% don't think that Biden won. I mean, it's a little bit. The wording is a little bit different there. So I mean, if they did, I mean, I could imagine the numbers being higher because they're saying if it's free and fair.
Free and fair. They probably think he cheated. Like they probably believe the results, but like, or most of the results. I mean, that's how I feel. Like a lot of them are like that. Like they don't actually believe that like that many votes were faked.
Right.
I mean, they probably feel like. I mean, I don't know. I think we had a stronger case that we were screwed in the primary, right? Because it was controlled by the Dems. Like it was a lot easier.
That is more. The party has more control, and then the other part of it is the difference with the exit polling.
Exactly.
I mean, and the fact that the Bernie's policies won overwhelmingly in every state. I mean, that's kind of a big thing.
Yeah, if the exit polling had been off like that too, because the exit polling was on, right?
Yeah. The exit. I mean, the pre-polls, the pre-election polls were off, but the post polls, the exit polls have been good.
and they still went for Bernie's policies.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that didn't make sense to me. How are the policies going to win? I mean, are voters that ill-informed that they don't know what they're voting for, or are they that shook by the electability argument? But yeah, so
I think a little bit of both.
So in Trump campaign. He's dropping the Arizona review.
Yeah.
So
he's winding it up. I think.
Yeah, I think he's kind of winding it down a little bit.
We'll see. Maybe tomorrow.
I caught a little bit of Bill Maher. I don't watch him anymore, but there was a joke he was making about how there's the 5 stages of grief or of coping, I guess is what it is, and he's stuck in and he said that Trump is stuck on the first 2. He keeps circling back and forth between the first 2 only. It's just a denial and anger.
Yeah, well, he had that story last night, about the computer program, right? Or the vote counting thing. There was some like 4chan theory about how it was, cost him like several 100,000 votes, and he was like tagging like all of his favorite like OAN journalists on it. Yeah, guys, check this one out.
Yeah, so they said the Trump campaign is acknowledging that the Arizona lawsuit is moot. So, I mean, by now there's enough collection. I mean, at least now that they've called it in all the remaining states, there's not really much of an argument to be made in any one of them. So
if he gets Pennsylvania and Georgia, is that enough?
Let me double check that on the CNN map. Like. Well, obviously nothing is gonna get flipped anymore.
No,
but say some.
Talking about what they're gonna focus on.
Yeah, let's say some kind of.
Georgia's doing the recount.
Yeah, they're doing I think they did a recount already. That's why they called it, right?
I thought they just started the recount today. I mean, unless they did it all today.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but let's see what this. Let's go to this. So, let's see without. Actually, you know what? I think I can still do that interactive map on that 270 to win thing.
CNN doesn't want you fucking with their map.
Yeah,
anymore.
Exactly.
They said it's done.
Yeah, I can still fuck with it.
They don't want you doing
all right, let's see.
Misinformation.
So, let's see, guys. Let's pretend like the Supreme Court is actually going to give Trump what he wants, and that's throwing out the ballots in which states?
Pennsylvania and Georgia.
All right, Pennsylvania. Let's give him Pennsylvania and Georgia. And, it brings us to that 270 map.
Oh, so he needs more than that then.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. If it was just those 2, I feel like he would go harder. Like he would, insist that.
I mean, even flipping Arizona, Nevada, no, that doesn't do anything. So I mean, at this point, he's gonna have to start winding it up. I'd kind of, if I had to guess, I'd probably go with what Scaramucci said.
He won't come back.
That he probably won't come back from Mar-a-Lago after Christmas. So
I thought that was Cohen.
That's Michael Cohen. My bad. Yeah. So
yeah, he's trying to make like a an alpha retreat.
Yeah, and I know publicly he's still doing all this bluster, and he has his people going all sycophantic about he's coming back and whatever else.
I just can't imagine standing somebody like that.
But behind the But you know, behind the scenes, he's what it sounds like he's kind of doing is just kind of taking a dump on the White and everything he can in the White House before he heads out. You know, well, and doing like base petty shit. Like, let's see if I could. Let's see.
What do you think he's doing at the Pentagon though?
Well, the first thing
they're trying to spin it like he's doing some anti-imperialism.
Well, like this shit that. Well, first of all, he just rolled out, or he's planning to roll out a bunch of new sanctions in Iran just to fuck up any kind of potential.
Yeah,
Iran
I told
deal.
you what they're doing there. Remember, like I think that's the word is like that's why Pompeo and Elliot Abrams and all are in the Middle East right now.
Right.
They're trying to complicate the Iran deal as much as possible so that they can't get back in it. Like,
yeah,
exactly. They're trying to force them to like somehow be breaking the sanctions or whatever, and like, you know, they're obviously over there with Israel trying to figure out how to do it.
But
I don't know. I think Biden will still do it though.
No, he'll figure out a way to do it, and Iran gets that he's an asshole. So I mean, they've been more patient than we probably would have been.
I don't know, but I don't think Israel wants him to get back in it. So he's going to have to tell Netanyahu no. I don't know if he can do that. You know.
Well, I mean, you know, his boss is a tough one, so. But check out this one. I don't think we got to talk about this, but there's a Trump appointee who's slow walking Biden's transition that could delay the president's elect COVID-19 plan.
Yeah, she's based.
Yeah, so this is the deal. So the head of the General Services Administration has yet to recognize the incoming Biden administration a delay that could have consequences for the president-elect. The president-elect.
That's what they're going to do.
On coronavirus. So
when Biden doesn't have any plan, they're going to blame it on fucking. Right. They're going to blame it on Trump's transition.
Yeah. So this person, Emily Murphy, has yet to sign a letter of ascertainment, a previously mostly non-controversial process since the passage of the Presidential Transition Act of 1963. Signing of the paperwork when a new president-elect is elected triggers a release of millions of dollars in transition funding that allows an incoming administration access to current government officials.
Signing the paper, why don't they just like say screw you and do it anyway?
Well, I mean,
like,
I guess that's not part of the
ceremonial piece of paper.
That's essentially what it was before, you know, you turn shit that was ceremonial into something that's actually material. So with the ascertainment delayed, the Biden transition team has been prevented from meeting with officials heading Operation Warp Speed and other Trump administration coronavirus efforts. So, I mean, it's such a small, petty thing to do.
She's just trying to be loyal to her man.
Yeah, but I mean, look, you're not going to sign a paper just to make it a little bit more difficult, just to make it a little bit harder to go ahead and transition into power.
Like I said, she'll be rewarded for that. She'll probably have a gig on Fox News, or probably not Fox News, but like some other network.
What you had said earlier about something AOC mentioned about making a list.
Yeah, but I mean, that's for like so they don't get rehabilitated, right? That's like what she's trying to say, and she could have worded that better. You know, because the show's went after her for it pretty hard. But the sentiment was right, because she was trying to threaten them, right? She was trying to say, don't fucking enable this coup or whatever, this, you know,
right.
Whatever that was supposed to be, like, you know.
But yeah, it seemed like it triggered a lot of the chuds. Here it is. So, is anyone archiving these Trump sycophants for when they try to downplay and deny their complicity?
Yeah.
In the future, I foresee decent probability that many deleted tweets, writing photos in the future.
They're spreading
personal responsibility,
conspiracy
being
theories.
upset at the idea of
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, I don't know. What do you expect after the Hillary people, right?
No, I think maybe Trump directly maybe won't get rehabilitated in terms of like how they've rehabilitated Bush. But I think as far as the people behind the scenes, people who worked in the White House and all that kind of stuff, they're going to find jobs. You kidding me?
Yeah, Jared and Ivanka never left that scene.
Yeah.
Like, they were at that party this year. You know? Like.
Yeah, and then they try to... I mean, what the Chuds are trying to do is turn that shit into some kind of gulag communist list, and that they're going to get rounded up and... Yeah,
that's what they were trying to make it seem like, that they... Like, she was trying to, like, shame the fans or something, the supporters, and not the officials who
right,
were,
exactly.
Like,
But yeah, so what we were talking about with the sanctions. So yeah, so there's a flood of new sanctions in Iran by January 20th.
What a bunch of assholes.
Yeah, I mean, it's just they're just trying to do whatever little petty thing they can do on the way out to make Biden look bad and have stuff to criticize him with right off the bat.
Is that why they're cleaning house at the Pentagon too?
I mean, there was that story. It was it says a slow moving coup, right?
Well, the Chuds were trying to say that it was the deep state was doing a coup on Trump, right? Like,
well,
they were trying to say that
from Democracy Now. Pentagon leadership reshuffle prompts fear of slow-moving Trump coup. So, former Pentagon officials are expressing alarm over President Trump's firing of Defense Secretary Mark Esper and the purge of other top officials of the Pentagon and National Security Agency following the election.
You can't just change the guy on top and expect to be the whole chain of command respond to
Jesus,
this.
With
crank.
2 months left, that's what you're gonna end up doing.
I just don't understand who these guys, the guys who report to these people that he's replaced. Like, even if you get the ultimate sycophant in there, you still need to get the entire chain of command below you to do a coup for this fucking turd. There's.
So
the people who are in his camp, they see him as fucking based in alpha and all that.
Right.
I don't think your random military guy doesn't like him one bit. Like, they think he's a psycho,
Yeah. Let me move this over here. So
former Fox News.
Yeah. So Anthony Tata is acting Undersecretary of Defense for Policy. Tata is a former Fox News contributor who once called former President Obama a terrorist leader and has called Islam oppressive and violent, an oppressive and violent religion. Former National Security Council official Ezra Cohen Watnick has become acting Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security. In 2017, he pushed for the surveillance of the White House staffers as a means to prevent leaks. He also advocated using covert action to overthrow the Iranian government. Retired 4-star General Barry McCaffrey warned, "We are watching a slow-moving Trump coup to defy the Biden election."
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not sure how far I would go with that, just because you see some Republicans distancing themselves from the more sycophantic shit.
If the tide turns, they will 100% back Trump if it looks like he's going to be able to pull it off.
So, and then you had this from the Dems this week. I don't know if you caught this, but look at this. Dems who voted to confirm at least one Trump judge this week in a lame duck session. So, Brown, Carper, Coons, Cortez, Mastow, Feinstein.
No, it's socialism. That's why they're losing.
Hassan Jones, that's Doug Jones who just lost. Joe Manchin, of course, made the list. Leahy, Murphy, Peters, Reed, Rosen, Warner, White House. During the lame duck session, they're giving him more judges.
Why?
There's no material benefit from that unless their interests are just completely aligned.
It's fucked up.
So
they spin up this fucking disingenuous campaign of hate against the left, and then meanwhile continue doing shit like that.
Right. And we've been talking
about the reason that they're suffering is because we want to give them health care. Like, half the party wants to help them. They're overwhelmingly supported on every kind of,
Since they've been calling her divisive, but I mean, look at this update to the all-important Georgia Senate races. AOC told me that the campaign has now garnered more than $370,000 for Georgia grassroots organizing ahead of the Senate runoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I kept thinking about what you're saying about whether or not it's better for her to operate in a more official capacity versus to keep her own thing just going the way she has been. And I mean, it's a shame that you're right in the sense that these things have to be independent of one another just because the party is so fucked up.
Yeah, you can't give them if you want to make a partnership with them, like she keeps saying, we need to unify. And I think that's right. I think that would be the smartest path. I think it would be the establishment to embrace their policies and at least recognize it and say, we're going to come to terms with the two flanks of the party or whatever, and
right,
whatever kind of, they won't give any policy specifics, but they'll embrace her more, right? Like, it's doing the way they're doing it now. It's bad for both, because they don't get any of her popularity. As we saw, the establishment, the party itself doesn't get the left's, like, we don't rub off on them with the current setup. If they want to get, if they want to continue, like, grifting on the accomplishments of, grassroots activism and the energy that's going on in that section of the party.
And look, from all accounts and leadership, they won't even acknowledge there's a problem. I mean, look at this from Pelosi. A defiant Nancy Pelosi said that she doesn't take responsibility for suffering losses in the House races last week, while dismissing the notion that she now has a compromise on her party agenda, since she'll preside over a slimmer majority in next Congress.
Yeah, she's ridiculous. Like, she's a tyrant, man. Like, I don't know how they get rid of her, but they need to. They need to step to her. I don't know, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like, Hakeem Jeffries, like, that ain't it.
Yeah, no, and he wants to go and take up into that spot, and you already saw him going and laying his sneak disses over there at AOC. And wait, hey, did you get to catch the Bowman and Jones, Cori Bush? They're all doing their orientation now.
I saw some of it.
Yeah.
Why?
So I think they were trying to send out a message with this one, though, or at least a couple of them. So if you can tell us apart, you're doing better than a lot of people at new member orientation. I mean, you believe that shit? You think he would have just said it just to say it?
What? I don't know. I think, yeah, man. They probably know there's, like, a new black guy from New York.
Right.
They don't know, like,
who they are.
Yeah.
And Cori Bush, this was cool. This was day one. So I'm wearing my Breonna Taylor mask. A few of my Republican colleagues have called me Breonna, assuming that's my name. It hurts, but I'm glad they'll come to know her name and story because of my presence here. Breonna must be central to our work in Congress.
Wow.
But I mean, it wouldn't be just, like, she's an activist. It would be so on brand for an activist to wear an activist mask on her first day of Congress, right?
Yeah, man, they're gonna remember, like, when the squad first got in there, right? It was like they did the whole sit-in thing at Pelosi's office, right?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
It was pretty chaotic. So, like, already this is a more chill transition. I think that just shows you, like, how far we've come. Like, they have, instead of being, like, truly outsiders coming in with no clue what's going on, they actually have, like, a home already set up for them.
Yeah.
They can get down to business.
All right, Josh. So we got one more story that we wanted to cover. It's an update to one that we did before. If y'all weren't aware about this, a little while back, Cenk and Anna on the Young Turks had a pretty animated flare-up at one another over the Azerbaijan and Armenia conflict that was going on. It has been going on for a while. I mean, it's a thing that it's reoccurring. I mean, for how long did you get to look back at how long they've been fighting? I mean,
since World War II.
Yeah, because the part of the dispute involves a tract of land that was awarded to Azerbaijan by Stalin, right? Even though ethnically most of the people that made up that area were Armenian.
Yeah, it's just typical from the Caucasus, right? That kind of people the lines get drawn, get divvied up, and get, splitting up ethnic groups for political reasons.
Right. And the argument that they had, Anna took issue with the idea that Anna's point was that since that land historically belonged to Armenia and is made up mostly by Armenians, and that Azerbaijan keeps violating the ceasefires, that the Armenians, I guess, were in the right in their hostilities, I guess is her point, right?
Well, it looks like Azerbaijan started it, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what she kept bringing up in the. Yeah, I mean they keep bringing up, or she brought
they launched
up
an offensive to retake the territory.
Right. So she made a point to say that every ceasefire has been broken by Azerbaijan. Here you go. It's on YouTube. So also worth bringing up the Armenian genocide by the Ottoman Empire, which Azerbaijan refuses to acknowledge. Right. So then,
exactly. That's what we're getting to.
So her dispute that she said specifically was that there's a UN resolution that is basically saying that Armenia isn't entitled to that tract of land, and Anna from that video said that how are we going to go ahead and respect a resolution that was set in place by countries that won't even acknowledge the Armenian genocide? To which Jank said that her argument makes her sound like an Israeli sycophant, which to the point about the West Bank, about the whole thing there is, Israel historically, that's our land, and it's a real thin argument on the Israeli side because ethnically it doesn't have that backing, so
I don't think that's I mean, I don't think there's any
I don't
not
think
the same argument here.
That's why I don't think Jank was right with the position that he brought up as far as calling out Anna on that front. I mean, as far as UN resolutions, I mean, that's arguable. The body
He's
itself.
trying to say that like they're calling into the legitimacy of the international governance, right? I feel like that's kind of what he was saying about the Israeli right wingers,
right? And the whole thing with Jank's point is just point blank. If you're gonna recognize UN authority, you're recognizing UN authority. But
it just seems fucked up that they get to like start a war and then keep the territory they claim, but I think it has a lot more to do with like the allies in the war, right? Like who's on whose side, who's who's working with the powerful, right?
Right. So basically, where we're at right now in the situation, the update we have is the Armenia went ahead and gave up, surrendered. For just to be blunt about it, and there was a massive reactions coming from the result of that conflict. Let me see if I can go to one of these tweets that stood out to me. So Azerbaijan and Armenia went to war, and Russia and Turkey won.
Yeah, I mean,
and apparently,
that's kind of what it seemed like
in the midst of this. So Erdogan from Turkey was allowed, in part, to at least influence or dictate terms. At least according to what was going around at the time. And then and this was a scene on oh shoot, sorry, that was a little loud. So this was a scene there at the Armenian parliament after Armenia reached an agreement to end the conflict. Yeah, so you could tell from that. I mean, there wasn't exactly a happy situation. Things got a little bit intense over there. Here you go. Protesters in Armenia stormed the government offices after the signed peace deal with Azerbaijan over the
Nagorno-Karabakh.
Yeah, Karabakh territory. The region is mostly ethnic Armenian, but recognized as part of Azerbaijan. Over 1,400 people have been killed in the recent fighting, with many civilians fleeing.
Yeah, I mean, Armenia got fucked here. I don't know how else. I mean, doesn't seem like. I mean, it's less ambiguous than it was before, right? Like.
Yeah, and I mean, well, just to go ahead and add on to this, so Russian peacekeeping troops are now being deployed to the area, and following the peace deal. So you have Russia going ahead and and throwing their hat in the ring. I mean, considering that the whole divvying up of the territory originated from Russia in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, it's like right on their doorstep. I mean, this is the kind of thing that, you know, you're supposed to have in a, you know, non hegemonic world order, right?
Russia's bases out. Depends on what we're talking about. And there are based.
You think? I mean, it's hard to tell. Like,
it depends on the context.
I mean, they're
depends on the
in
context.
this situation, they're probably the most based.
Yeah.
Right?
So
I mean, they do. I mean, they're a lot better than us. I feel like, at least in terms of like who they'll back.
Yeah. So
internationally,
there was a Russian broker deal to end the war, and they surrendered the disputed territory. The agreement was signed by Putin, President Ilham Aliyev. I cannot say it. Azerbaijan. And it says Armenia's army is set to withdraw and be replaced by Russian peacekeepers. Under the deal, warring sides were to halt the fighting and prepare for peacekeepers' arrival. 3 earlier ceasefires negotiated by Russia, France, and the United States have collapsed. So this isn't the first time there's been a ceasefire.
No, they just had one in 2016.
Yeah. This is far from the first time, I should say. But the agreement on Monday suggested a more permanent sweeping withdrawing of the security map of the Southern Caucasus, a volatile region wedged between Turkey, Russia, and Iran. The settlement sealed a role in the region for increasingly assertive Turkey, which backed Azerbaijan in the war that began in September. See, I personally made a very hard decision for me and for all of us. It's not a victory, but there's no defeat. Indeed, the agreement aims a quarter century of Armenian military control over the remote mountainous region that is the touchstone of Armenia, of national identity. Russia will now guard the borders. So there's and we keep saying there's a mostly Armenian population, but it fell within the Soviet drawn borders of Azerbaijan. The enclave declared independence before the Soviet breakup. So for Azerbaijanis,
Azerbaijanis.
The settlement opened up the prospect that at least some of the hundreds of thousands of internally displaced people who lost their homes in the separatist war that ended in 1994 could return to the region. That war ended with the shoe on the other foot. A ceasefire seemed as catastrophic but inevitable for Azerbaijan after Armenian military victories. So Putin said, and the new agreement requires both the Armenian and our Azerbaijani armies to stop at their current occupied positions. That cements in place Azerbaijani capture on Sunday of a strategic town known as Susha to the Azerbaijanis and Susha and Sushi to the Armenians. It is the second largest town in the region and overlooks a separatist capital. So, you had brought me up a different article, right, Matt? That was in relation to this.
I mean, that's just a more complicated. We don't have to get to that. And it's just kind of about like the weapons supplies.
I'll just go to it. So the conflict in Nagorno-Karabakh, right? Nagorno-Karabakh raises scrutiny of Israel's arms sales to Azerbaijan. So they've been getting their weapons bought from the Israelis.
Yeah, and it's sold. I mean, it's just supplying them, but
right.
It's like through Turkey. It's like shaping up. Like that's one of the partnerships taking shape over there, right? Like seems to be it
says Baku's friendship with Israel has also been crucial to the battlefield success, according to Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. Israel supplied 60% of Azerbaijan's arms imports between 2015 and 2019.
It really kind of feels kind of depraved, like they keep like arming these like separatist movements and then kind of like provoking a conflict.
Right.
It's like,
So yes, but I mean, at the time, you should say we just kind of made it about the argument between Cenk and Anna, and not so much. We didn't really take a position either of us on who was right in the conflict or who had more merit. I mean, at the end of it, we kind of stay neutral. We got ratioed on that video anyway, but but I mean at this point,
we were fair.
I mean, I thought we were fair too because we didn't even really take a side on it, and I guess people went ahead and ratioed us anyway for that shit. But from looking at it, I mean, I kind of veer more towards Anna's point now, you know, rather than where Jank was coming from.
I mean, it's like seems to be like you're like rewarding the aggression, right? Like,
right.
They started the war, went in, just bombed all the civilians, just had all these heavy artillery, these sophisticated weapons. They had
coming in from Israel for some reason, and then you
Israel
had all
and
these influences coming from
mercenaries.
Russia. I mean, obviously there were people outside of Azerbaijan and Armenia that had a vested interest in the outcome.
Yeah, it's like I said, it seems to me it's like they're selling the combatants weapons and then egging them on to go fight and like use the weapons that you sold them. You know, it seems like that's something they haven't done, and I feel like that was probably more common, you know, back in the day.
Right.
But they haven't been doing it as much. But like the Armenian, president was pissed off about it, or the prime minister.
Mm-hmm.
He said humanitarian aid from a country selling weapons to mercenaries, which they are using to strike a peaceful civilian population. I propose that Israel send that aid to the mercenaries and terrorists as the logical continuation of its activities. When they had just sent an ambassador to Tel Aviv, and then they recalled him right away after it started, pissed off about the weapon sales, because it's like, you know, they know what's going on. They're not dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Let's see. Well, that's the only other thing I got, unless you're ready to go ahead and sign off. Did you see this thing from Deutsche Bank?
There's the whole thing. No, I didn't see that.
About the remote workers?
Oh, yeah, the tax.
Yeah, remote workers should be taxed for the privilege of earning a living from home. Deutsche Bank strategist has said. Can you imagine this shit? This is
sickos,
man. This is exactly what you're talking about. The same kind of ruling class. Choosing to earn a living from home once the pandemic ends is a privilege that you should pay for, according to strategists. Working from home will be part of a new normal well after the pandemic has passed. The strategist led by Luke Templeman wrote in a note, "We argue that remote workers should pay a tax for the privilege." So just you levy another tax on the fucking working class.
What is that though? Like, how do they even justify it though? Yeah. I don't understand. Like
a 5%.
They're using all of their own supplies. Like,
yeah, like it says a 5% levy on those who work from home on a regular basis and not because of a government lockdown mandate. Such a measure could raise $48 billion a year in the U.S. and 16 billion euros in Germany. I mean, look it right there. Is where that shit goes fucking haywire even now, because we just saw it's not like they're gonna get uniform lockdown policies across the board, and even in this country. So that tax would apply to anybody that's not under a state sanctioned lockdown. Yeah, even in the interest of their health. Yeah, that makes no sense.
I don't get that. Yeah, that makes no sense.
Yeah, and I did like this tweet about it though. So Deutsche Bank, which funded Auschwitz, Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, and ISIS, wants you to consider your privilege. Yeah. So, but yeah, I guess that's where we're gonna go ahead and leave it for tonight.
Israel gets 37% of all their oil from Azerbaijan too.
Oh, you think that might have something to do with their?
Says they provide Azerbaijan with advice and weaponry in counterterrorism, including against its internal opposition, while Azerbaijan provides Israel with battlefield laboratory for cutting-edge military technologies.
Oh, that's nice. Well, all right, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get up out of here for tonight. Thanks, everybody, for coming up on the stream. We'll be back on tomorrow. We'll find some good stuff to go through and talk about. yeah, anything that comes up in the news, we'll make sure to go ahead and cover it. If you all aren't following us yet on YouTube or Twitch, then make sure you go ahead and click that subscribe, click that follow button. Keep us up in your normal rotation, even though we don't have a consistent time frame. But yeah, I mean, come on, we gotta be on the ball a little bit more on our scheduling and shit, bro.
We're on every night, man. Like, it's good enough.
Yeah, you're probably right.
It's not fucking MSNBC. Like, my man wants to be the nightly news over here.
I mean, I don't know. At least people know when to look for us. But anyway, we're out, guys.
All right, later.
Let's see.